Okay, so matrix multiplication. It seems to be working. Okay, so we're doing B times C. B times C, and it has to be in that order. Somebody asked a good question. Can you do C times B? Well, what do you think? Will that be the same? No. So it has to be B times C in that order. So if we're doing multiplication, we have to first make sure our dimensions match up. And since the columns of one match the rows of the other, it will work. Our answer will be 2 by 2. Here is the matrix we're going to fill in. First, we're going to do the top left element, and we're going to use the tops and the lefts. And somebody also asked a good question. How do you know which one goes with which? There's two elements here and there's two elements there. How do you know which one? So think about the fact that we read from left to right and we read from top to bottom, right? When you turn pages, you go left to right, top to bottom. So you can kind of think of this as the first and this is the second, and over here this is the first and this is the second. Okay, so -3 times 1 plus 0 times -3 will be your top element, top left element. Then we're going to do the bottom left element. We're going to use the bottoms and the lefts. It's going to be positive 1. Oh, that darn thing. Positive 1 times 1, this times this, right? Plus -2, second times the second, right? -3. Now if we want to do the top right, we're going to do tops and rights. It's going to be -3 times 4 plus 0 times -1. Bottom rights, we're going to do the bottoms, 1 times 4 plus -2 times -1. And that's how we get our answer right here. Because -3 plus 0 is -3, 1 plus 6 is 7, -12 plus 0 is -12, and then 4 plus 2 is 6. If you didn't get the right answer, which some of you didn't, okay, entertain yourself. Humor me, how about that, by writing this out the way I did. Some of you who didn't get the right answer were not writing down everything that you multiplied and added. Take a step backwards. Don't expect yourself to be really good at this right away. Okay? Write it down at least until your brain gets your head around it, and then you can start weeding yourself off of writing it down. But write it down for now, because again, you can double check. Notice that these elements, oh, that's not a highlighter. These elements that I just crossed out match the elements in our first matrix, right? We have -3, 1, 0, -2. -3, 1, 0, -2. You can see that you have it set up correctly. And then these 1, 1 match. -3, -3, they match. And it's those, right? And then 4, 4 match, -1, -1 match, and they're those, right? So you can, if you write it all out, you can just double check and make sure you have it set up correctly before you go and get your answer, okay? All right, any questions? Okay, matrix operations on the calculator, right? So for this one in our notes, they give us 3 matrices, A, B, and C. If we go to our calculator, we can push, see where it says matrix here, right above the x to the -1, right? We can push second, and then x to the -1, so that gives us the matrix screen. And then they give us all these matrices that we could fill in. We're basically going to punch the matrix A that they gave us into the calculator. So what you want to do is first go over to Edit. See where it says Names, Math, Edit on the top? Go to Edit because you're editing matrix A. And then push Enter. The first thing it asks is, what size is this matrix? So if we look at our notes, matrix A is a 3 by 2 matrix, right? Remember, we always do rows by columns, rows first. So it's a 3 by 2. So we're going to put in 3 by 2. I just arrowed over to the other one. I think you can push Enter. 3 by 2. And then when you push Enter, it will give you that size matrix on your screen. Is this working for everybody? Does anybody not have a calculator on them? Oh goodness. All right, well, do you have one at home? All right, so good thing I'm recording this. You can watch this at home. Maybe look on with somebody. Okay, so 3 by 2 matrix. What we're going to do is enter that matrix A. So the first element is 4. Push Enter. It'll automatically move it to the right. And then you put in 3. Enter. And then -1. Remember to use this button down here as your negative, not the minus sign. Right? This is -1. Enter. And then -2. Enter. And then 2. Enter. And then 0. Enter. And that's matrix A. Now we want to fill in matrix B, right? So we're going to go second matrix again, and it'll take us back to the screen where we can enter our matrices. Now, matrix A is already entered in there. It stays there. We're just going to go over to Edit again. And then, don't push Enter yet, because now you have to scroll down. We want to fill in matrix B. So first you're telling the calculator, okay, I want to edit this. And then which one do you want to edit? Go down to B, Enter. This one is what size? 2 by 2, right? On our notes, 2 by 2. We're doing this one now. B is 2 by 2. So we're going to enter that one. And then we're going to enter C. This is all from the notes. So 2 by 2, Enter. And then we put it in -3, Enter, 0, Enter, 1, Enter, -2, Enter. And then we're going to go to second matrix again, and edit again, and down to C now, and Enter. This may all seem like a pain in the neck, but oops. Once you've experienced matrix multiplication like we just did, you realize that this pain in the neck sometimes pays off, because it makes it easier in the end. Okay, so now we're putting in matrix C. Okay, now I'm going to go to second quit. And I have this blank screen where I can do some calculations. Look at the first one. It says 2a. We know how to do 2a. We could probably do that one in our head. We don't really need the calculator for that. Let's go down to number 6 where it says ab. Right? A times b. We saw what a pain that kind of was, right? So a times b, all you have to do is go second matrix and choose a. Just push Enter. Not edit this time, just Enter. Right? And then second matrix, and scroll down and choose B. And that means you're going to multiply them together. You push Enter, and boom. Nice, right? So the catch here is, you're going to have a test with a calculator section and a non-calculator section, so you do need to know how to do multiplication on your own. But this is going to help us when we are finding solutions.